The rise of one nation has prompted Labour to amend its draft national platform. Their platform will now include a commitment to an anti-racism strategy and will formalize support for welcome to country ceremonies. A senior Labour source said the anti-racism strategy was a direct response to concern among branch members about the rise of racism as support for one nation grows. Labour's support for the welcome to country ceremonies comes after both the Coalition and One Nation warned they were being overused and devalued. Talk about this and more, Labour MP Michael Danby and PR Council Managing Director Christy McSweeney. Michael, let's start with you on this. I kind of thought that Labour wasn't doing culture wars anymore and that, Albo said that he wasn't woke. Why are Labour going down this road? Because it seems like this seems like a weird way to try and show down one nation.
This is kind of crazy, James, just as you're suggesting. Never listen to branch members. That should be an iron rule of any Labor government. They're always far to the left of any parliamentary party and even further to the left of the general public. And addressing one nation should be rational. It should be looking at the over-high immigration rates that we had, problems with the economy, but pledging oneself to welcome to country ceremonies is hardly going to make people happier out there in Manangatang or in West Australia.
Well, Christy, this is a crazy thing here. I mean, all we hear about, it's a cost of living crisis, a cost of living crisis. Anthony Albanese himself, he keeps repeating variations on the old James Carville mantra that it's the economy, stupid. I don't know how a welcome to country ceremony or formalizing that is going to make my groceries cheaper, my interest rates on my mortgage lower, or anything of that nature.
Look, all political parties need to take heed that conference delegates or branch members or their membership is largely not reflective of what is going to win your election. And all politicians need to heed this warning as much as in the coalition that they do in Labor. We know that Labor's conference is left-dominated. We know Labor's cabinet is left-dominated. But fighting one nation by zeroing in on a welcome to country motion at a conference is really out of touch with why One Nation is actually rising in the polls. As you say, it's cost of living, it's grievance, it's a recognition that your kids are not going to do as well as you did. It's that Australia is refusing, the major parties haven't helped people get ahead. They're not seeing any of this economic prosperity that they keep hearing about. There's a whole conflation of issues that's driving the rise of One Nation. And if you are a race-based One Nation voter, you are locked and loaded in on international immigration, not domestic culture wars. You're sympathetic to that, but that is not the mover in terms of the race-based One Nation voter. This is, a really silly way to go about it and to publicise it as this is how we're fighting One Nation.
Well, Michael, let's
out of touch.
Yeah, it's very out of touch. But, Michael, I just want to stick with this topic for a second and just ask you, an awful lot of people have been saying, oh, well, the thing the Liberals need to do is to not go further to the right to try and match One Nation, and it's a big mistake if they go further out to try and capture those votes on the fringe. It seems to me that the same people who would be telling the Liberals not to do that in their op-ed columns in the Sydney Morning Herald and places like that are telling Labor to make the exact same mistake in the other direction.
Well, it's a mistake to dump on people who are more than 30% of Australian voters, including many ex-Labor voters. I don't know whether they'll stick all the way through the election. Right-of-centre parties have big problems. Just look at what happened to Nigel Farage. My goodness me, how's that for a turn of events? But don't listen to them. Stick to talking rationally about issues. Christy, you were saying right before about cost of living, electricity prices. Give us a fair account, Chris Bowen, of the cost of transmission lines and all the capital sunk costs of this ridiculous energy transformation that you're making for green hydrogen and all the other nonsense. He's more like Don Quixote with all of his windmills.
Yeah, indeed.
G'day legends and welcome back to Australian Signal. Grab your cuppa because Labor just handed Pauline Hanson the greatest gift she has received since the invention of the microphone. That is right, the party of the fair go has decided the best way to fight One Nation is not with better economic policy, it is with a brand new anti-racism strategy and formalised support for welcome to country ceremonies. Riveting stuff for the bloke choosing between groceries and his mortgage this week. Quick favour, if you are loving this breakdown, let me see you hit that subscribe button. Over 90% of viewers have not yet. Please do. It is free, takes a second, and means the world to us. Thanks. If you did, now back to the show. So, here is the situation. Labor's branch members, worried sick about rising racism tied to One Nation's surge, have pushed the party to rewrite its national platform. Sounds noble on paper, right? Except there is a small problem and his name is Michael Danby. The former Labor MP called this move, and I'm quoting him directly here, kinda crazy. Danby argues the branch members driving this are miles to the left of both the parliamentary party and, more importantly, the actual voting public. Think of it like a football club letting the reserve-grade coach set strategy for the grand final. Passionate? Sure. Plugged into reality? Not exactly. Now let's bring in Christy McSweeney, PR strategist and the voice of cold, hard electoral truth in this discussion. She backs Danby up, pointing out that party delegates are about as electorally representative as a hipster cafe menu is of the average Australian dinner table. Her argument is simple and it stings. One Nation voters are not losing sleep over ceremonial symbolism, they are losing sleep over international immigration numbers, insecure jobs, and a cost of living crisis that refuses to quit. Labor is bringing a cultural essay to an economic gunfight. And here's the twist that makes this genuinely fascinating. Both major parties are falling into the exact same trap from opposite directions. The Liberals lurch right trying to out-Hanson, and now Labor lurches left trying to out-virtue the virtue signallers. Danby and McSweeney both warn this is fighting One Nation on the wrong battlefield entirely. Meanwhile, the real battlefield, groceries, interest rates, energy bills, sits wide open and completely undefended. Which brings us to the accountability question nobody in Canberra wants to answer. Where is the honest, transparent breakdown of what the green energy transition is actually going to cost everyday Australians? Voters are not asking for symbolism, they are asking Chris Bowen and company to show their homework. Until someone does that, do not be shocked when One Nation keeps climbing, because right now the only party speaking directly to hip pockets is the one everyone else keeps trying to symbolically outmaneuver. Thank you for watching. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.